Well, welcome everyone. It's not like we weren't just talking to you there a moment ago. Welcome to the Iron Fork of Friday.
You're ruining
It's
the magic,
another
Daniel.
Friday.
Another? Ugh, I can't take too many more
Rob,
of these.
what were you saying?
You're ruining the magic.
Shut up. You don't care what you have to say. So, with that being said, this is the Iron Fork. I am Dan, joined by Fourth Oracle. We have Robert there over on the camera, keeping us on the air. He was just doing some Don't Starve, which he was actually somewhat succeeding at, which is fantastic. Thank you for joining us here on twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show. So much going on today. Oracle, what is up?
I'm doing pretty well. Finals are done. Didn't have any finals, interestingly enough. That's not that uncommon of an occurrence because of my major, but still, it's nice to kind of be out of the woods. So I'm feeling pretty good.
What is your major?
I'm an English major, writing minor.
Oh.
So basically, I'm training to be a manager at Burger King.
Yep.
No.
Good luck.
Not really. Actually, I'm specifically studying digital humanities.
Really?
I'm going into that. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool. Right now, I'm in the process of trying to. I'm doing a lot of theory work. Oddly enough, already as an undergrad, trying to define a new kind of literature. Trying to define like an interactive medium that tells a story. I'm calling it interactive narrative.
Sure.
It's like it's a narrative that you have to, that is cybertextual in nature, which means you actually have to do something with it. It probably sounds a little bit dry, but basically I'm talking about games as art. Like that's a really simple way of thinking about it.
Certainly. Rob, why are we on the screen?
You've still got your cameras going, so I thought I'd do a little adjustment here that would work.
Sure.
It doesn't.
I'm sexy.
What are you doing? Okay, whatever. Fine, we're gonna go with it.
It's magic.
It's not really magic. It's not that magical, to be completely honest. As it stands, we have a lot of stuff going on in the competitive esports scene for Guns of Icarus. Oracle, you have your Sunday stuff going on. You have your Friday stuff that's going on. What do you have for this week?
So after the Iron Fork, half an hour after the Iron Fork, I'm going to be having the Metamidian, which is a regular weekly talk show. This is going to be number 3. Just talking about the meta and the game, interviewing competitive players, and it's fun.
Absolutely.
And
do you have something specific lined up for this week?
Yeah, I've got Tanya Fanol, who's been on a lot of different teams, talking about. She's going to be talking about the engineering side of Guns of Icarus, which is something we don't see a lot of. In the we as spectators, we don't get to see what they do a lot, and so I thought it'd be worthwhile to take time to talk about like their role and the intricacies of it and what it's like to fly under different captains, because she has such a wide range of captains she's served under. And then there's a Sunday community skirmish, of course, that's happening on Sunday on my stream my stream as well. You guys can find it over.
Do you have a commentator joining you yet this week?
Rotted Beef has come on as my regular.
Oh, he's your permanent. Right, he's your permanent co-commentator. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I dragged him in.
You said that to me before.
Yeah, I mentioned that. For Ruth Oracle.
Whoops.
Forsooth.
Forsooth, Oracle. Okay, now. Radbot was working.
I don't think you need an underscore.
Radbot was working earlier.
Well, here, hold on, let me try.
Rob, just go ahead and nix the cameras right now.
Okay.
Oh well.
Yeah, let's just.
There you go.
I'm gonna turn off the camera. Turn off the camera.
I'm guessing Radbot just stopped working.
What's going on with Radbot?
I need to go and restart him. He was working perfectly fine earlier.
Oh.
I'm gonna stop giving him a gender. He is now an it until he can work. Until it works, it's an it.
Oh, and the books that I have behind me is that's Saga. If anyone knows the comic book series Saga, I picked up all 3 of the collection volumes and read it through. Oh my gosh.
Copyright King Gaming.
What? Oh my gosh.
The lobby is made, and soon enough, it will be filling up.
We got 6 minutes. I say 5 minutes.
Yeah. They don't give out the password right away for the Iron Fork. It is a passworded open lobby. They give the password out publicly in the chat, in the general chat. So if you want to get in on it, we will be giving out the Iron Fork as well. You can join. You can play. This is a Guns of Icarus game, by the way, guys. Guns of Icarus Online is a Steam game where you fly in steam-powered ships and destroy one another. The Iron Fork is a wonderful way to be a part of that. Now, with that being said, we do have Hephaestus starting up here once again tomorrow.
Yep, I'm going to go into week 3 of the group stages.
We were going over the schedule earlier. We went through that. You can find the schedule over on the forums if you're interested in that. Now, going over statistics so far for the Hephaestus Challenge, we have some trends starting to show. There are teams that have gone 2-0 already, of course. Those teams are this. And this is my full ranking of all the teams. At the top, in my opinion, Riders, and then in second, a very close second, Glowwater Thralls. I think those two teams, it's very close as to who is at the top spot right now, in my opinion. I think Riders just slightly eke it out, though. They've had a few... Their wins have been ever so very, very slightly more convincing, in my opinion. And then in the 2-0 spots right below them, Holy Roman Army at third, and then fourth, Cake with the 2-0. They actually 2-1'd Sacrilege last week. A major upset, in my opinion. That still blows my mind. Coming in fifth, Overwatch at 1-1. Clamor at 1-1 at sixth. Seventh, Sacrilege right behind Clamor at 1-1. Then the Mad Hatters, then the Merry Men at 7th and 8th.
Yeah, the Mad Hatters. Yeah. The Mad Hatters, like they actually just finally got permanent captains.
Really?
They've been shifting things around, and they've been using a sub. But now, actually, just the other night, Grinning Jinx told me that she'd taken on piloting duties, which is awesome.
Well, there we go. I was actually 8th and 9th spots. At the 10th spot at 0-2, the Bully Boys, Black Flight Squadron, as they are colloquially called. The Bully Boys is the clan name for them, of course. They are 0-2. I think they're going to come back this week, and I think they're going to trump the Merry Men. It's going to be close, but I think they're going to win over the Merry Men. This is the week they start to put things back together, in my opinion. If they don't, the rest of the schedule is not easy for them. They're going to have a very rough rest of the tournament. Also, in 11th, DPA at 0-2. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to go at this point. They've had a rough time. Deadpool himself, really, I think he needs to take a bigger hand in exactly what's going on. I think we need to see a lot more practice from them, but that may not be in the cards. Who knows? So we'll see. 12th is Muse at 0-2. They're more just having fun. They need to make the game. Kiviso's having a ton of fun with it. Howard's having a ton of fun with it. That's good. And in last place, in my opinion, the Art of War. Art of War, they've shown a really strong showing, but they can't match the competitive nature, it seems, of the other teams going into this. And I think it's partially because they do a lot of games. This is not the only game they try to compete in. I think they don't have the time dedication necessary. And if they do, they're not dedicating it. So more time dedication, and they will be a team to be reckoned with, but that's just not happening right now.
Yeah, the Guns of Icarus competitive scene is surprisingly competitive. I mean, people practice really hard.
Yeah.
And getting 8 people together is typically pretty difficult. Like, now getting 8 people together is like herding cats, but like these teams manage to do it because everyone is so dedicated to the game.
Yeah. Now, as for predictions time for the Hammer League, our league, it's going to be Glowwater Thralls versus Merry Men. I think Glowwater Thralls is going to trump them. Mad Hatters. I'm sorry. Yeah, Mad Hatters. I think Glowwater Thralls wins that one, though.
When the Mad Hatters, like, I don't know what we're going to see from Jinx, but when I see the Mad Hatters, I see them when they get into a sticky situation, they panic.
Yep.
And the Glowwater Thralls is excellent at putting the enemy into a bad situation.
Scrimscraw's
This is
chaotic
just
nature has won him quite a few games.
well,
And
Scrimscraw's not piloting; he's managing this tournament.
Yeah, that's true.
But he does coach them, and it does
he
rub
coaches them
off.
quite a lot. So
Clamor and Musosaurus. I feel like Clamor is just more experienced and more practiced.
Clamor has that one, I think. No offense against Muse, but it's a highly competitive clan versus people trying to have fun. There's no
Yeah.
offense meant, but I think Clamor's going to have that one.
Well, I don't feel like I'm not saying any of this with any offense. Like these are
Yeah.
all really good teams. It's just like comparing them to one another. It's like it's like you have climbers up on a mountain and you have like a bunch of people that are like on the very bottom winded, and all these guys, are up at the very top and they're doing just fine. And they're competing with one another. It's like even if one of them is better than the others, then they're still so far above the rest.
Mm-hmm. Up next, Overwatch versus DPA. I think I think Overwatch is going to take that one. I think DPA still has some pieces they need to put back together. A little higher level of organization, I think, would help a lot. But other than that, I think they can really start reaching a bigger level of play if they hit that organization. Still, though, I think Overwatch is over the top of DPA on this one. I think they're going to win it. And then the fourth game for Hammer League, the Hammer Division, rather, Ryder versus Holy Roman Army. I think this one is going to be exceptionally close and very competitive. Both of these teams are 2-0, and neither team is interested in losing that at any point in time, ever. I think this one is going to be big.
The Riders are the one that have pulled out the carrot, aren't they?
No, the carrot was Overwatch.
That was Overwatch. That was
Yeah,
Overwatch. Excuse me. Yeah. Riders are just strong. They're brawlers, aren't they? I'm trying to remember.
They are. They have a combination of brawler and mid range. Like they've
been running the Hades Echidna.
Yeah, they originally ran the Hades Artemis, but they've switched it up to the Hades Echidna.
Every so often, like they've sort of been like last week we saw them switch.
Yep.
To Hades Artemis because they wanted the disable. I think it was because like they were going in pretty hard and they knew that the Gat Mortar was going to be coming up. It was also, I was really glad to see them actually backpedal. I think they're the only team so far that like in the Hammer division that is actually backpedaled using the Hades on the front of a Pyramidion.
Yep. Now for Anvil, which actually a quick note on HRA versus Riders. Again, I think it's going to be an incredibly competitive match. I cannot wait to see which team wants to hold on to their unbeaten record more. Because Holy Roman Army, they've had a very strong showing. Very strong. But Ryder, they've been the solid team that they've really shown the past few months. So, whoever's going to pull it out. And it's on Duel at Dawn. So, who knows what's going to happen there?
What has Holy Roman Army been running? Like, their games have been pretty darn quick.
I don't remember off the top of my head, to be completely honest.
Hold on. I'm going to look this up real quick. I'm going to look up the recordings. Here we go. Hammer Division VODs.
All matches, by the way, are recorded for posterity's sake on video on demand.
Go Anvil VODs.
If you go to twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show, you'll see all of the Hammer Division VODs. And if you go to twitch.tv/Imagine42, the number 42 gaming, you'll see all the Anvil Division VODs. And actually last week, they Imagine broadcast with Kirk, which was tons of fun to hear.
I'm checking.
We are doing the Iron Fork, though, just so you folks know. Iron Fork lobby is full. We appreciate you.
But
you all
Daniel,
being a part of this.
Daniel,
Yes.
you're forgetting something. It's not just the Iron Fork of Friday. It's the Iron Fork of Friday.
The 13th.
The 13th.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Okay, so I'm looking at this. So the Holy Roman Army week 1 ran a Junker with triple Arty and Gat Mortar.
Mm-hmm.
And they also ran they ran an Artemis Hades forward Pyramidion. So they've been going for a more long range build, apparently in that one, and this was on Duel at Dawn.
Yep. Again, I'm very interested to see exactly how that match comes out. Ryder is an amazing clan. Holy Roman Army has been obliterating teams. Which is going to move first? Which is going to blink first? Who is going to be able to out DPS the other?
They're both doing really well, but
They're both doing incredibly well.
I think that the Riders know how to play in tight quarters really well.
You know, that's what I'm thinking too, especially considering it's on Duel at Dawn. My prediction is that Ryder is just going to come out barely. That's going to be a 5-3 or a 5-4 over Holy Roman Army. It's going to be extremely close though. And if Holy Roman Army pulls it out over Ryder, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I still feel like the Riders have, I don't know, every time I see the Riders, when they're on Duel at Dawn, they win.
They're
pretty much always
machine.
Like they're so comfortable in tight quarters and they never panic. Like
Absolutely.
sometimes they pull out something silly, sometimes they make a mistake, but more often than not, they tend to do better than their opponents in a brawling situation. And I mean, Duel at Dawn, it's very easy to start a brawl. And
Rob, did you change over the title and stuff for the Twitch page? Why does it's still saying don't starve? Yeah, it's still saying that. Hold on a sec, let me try and change it. Twitch is being mean. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, it's still saying don't starve.
Well, do you know what I blame it on?
What's that?
God damn it, now YouTube's being a bastard. I blame it on Friday the 13th.
Don't go out tonight.
I'm not going out tonight in the first place.
I never go out.
There we go. Broadcast updated successfully.
We're just a bunch of nerds.
Nerds!
What is this sun that you speak of?
It's really bright and hot out. I will say this. Anywho.
I only know of one sun, and his name is Guardian.
Getting back to the Anvil division, we have Sacrilege versus the Art of War. I think Sacrilege wins that one. Again, the Art of War needs to start dedicating more time to practice, in my opinion. We have Cake versus the Sky Invading Rhinos. I think one of the dark horses here pulls it out of that one. I think it's Cake over Sky Invading Rhinos. I don't like exactly what I've seen from Sky Invading Rhinos, and Cake seems to have the luck of the Irish or the luck of the Cakes or whatever they want to call it with them.
I don't know, Cake has surprised me.
Absolutely. Cake's a wild card in this situation in the Hephaestus challenge so far. And honestly, I feel like they might be able to do this.
Well, I mean, I don't even know what to do about Cake right now because this tournament is a complete flip around from what they've done. Like usually they've generally performed really poorly in tournaments just because they don't practice as much. But this time it's like the opposite. It's like they have been playing really smart, like aggressive but smart, and I don't know what's going on. Like, did they just practice a ton behind everyone's back and it's like, hey, by the way, we're amazing now. I don't know what happened. Like, so I don't know if it's luck. I don't know if it's like, no, I don't even know what it is. Like, it might just be that they've really stepped up their game, and 2 weeks in a row they've done pretty well.
Absolutely.
Who did they went up against the Art of Warfare?
First week they did Art of War. They 5-0'd them, and then
God, that's
week
so.
2. What's that?
No, like it's just impressive. Like the Art of Warfare is on the bottom of your list.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But I mean, going up against Sacrilege, who's really stepped up their game as well. Like they began to fall behind a little bit, but they've stepped up recently. Like the fact that they outdid them, that's impressive.
Yeah,
but,
and then,
well, we're getting underway on the Iron Fork, though.
Week 2, they did 2-1 Sacrilege using the time limit. We'll go over more stats and predictions later on here. We do have the Iron Fork, though. The map is going to be Fight over Fernfeld. Oracle, as always, go ahead and tell us about the map.
It's big, and that has a high flight ceiling. You see a lot of brawling up high. Sometimes you see a fight in the middle of the map, because the middle of the map has a little bit more cover. Sometimes snipers like to take position there if you have a team that that favors cover for their snipers rather than staying out in the open, which does happen.
It does.
But oftentimes you end up way out in the open over the water.
Absolutely. Starting with the VSS Abdicative, piloted by Jacob, we have a Carronade fish with double flamer, a blender fish with double flamer support. We see this quite often. It is pretty popular when it comes to blender fish designs. We have the Dory, another goldfish, a Hwacha fish with a Gatling on the right and flamer on the left, piloted by Akumi. Very solid setup, especially with that Gatling on the right-hand side. You can fling that Gatling while the reload is happening on the Hwacha. Very effective. We also have the VSS Mummy, piloted by Acronymus. That's a Gap Mortar Metamidian on the front with Carronade and Flamer support. Go ahead, Oracle.
And for the blue team, we have the Fozzie the Pyrrha. I'm going to throw a wild guess out there and say double gap forward. No, that's double Banshee. Double Banshee forward on the Fozzie the Pyrrha, being piloted by Fox, a third Banshee on the port for potential trifecta, and a Carronade as well on the back.
I believe they can indeed get the trifecta on there pretty easily.
Oh, yeah, they can. The Banshee has a very large turning rate, has a very large rotation radius.
Let's continue.
Yeah, let's continue. Circumflex Accent, Goldfish being piloted by Mela McCravenathy, another blender fish with Flamethrower on either side, and aboard the Nerf's Warcry, we have a Pyramidion being piloted by Nerf. It is a Mercury Echidna forward, interesting, with a Flamer and a Carronade on the port.
You have a lot of armor and hull break there in a singular ship. Abdicative starts losing it. Oh my goodness, they get taken apart by Nerf's Warcry. That Echidna on the Pyramidion is going to be exceptionally effective if Fozzie and Circumflex continue to support in the way they have.
Yep, Nerf's backing up. I really am a big fan of the Mercury. See the Mercury coming out every so often, popping into the armor. Echidna comes out a little bit early. Most shots just go into the armor, but the Fozzie has plenty of hull damage with the Banshee. Dory coming in, Circumflex looking to pop a balloon of the Dory, drops it down, but it cannot save its ally, the Mummy. Circumflex now trying to pop in on the Dory. Fozzie the Pyrrha gonna ram up against him. This might be 3-0 for the blue team. Indeed, it almost is.
Wow, that was close. Dory is gonna go down though. Flex finish him off along with a little nudge and a Banshee from Fozzie. Those Banshees so far have been incredibly effective. As people may or may not know from previous Iron Forks, the Iron Fork is a popular place to try out new perspective setups for ships in a semi-competitive environment. Banshee, triple Banshee, I've never really seen it before used competitively, but that had a lot of power behind it.
You occasionally see the Banshee on the front of a Pyramidion, very occasionally. It's usually not a main weapon, though. I guess the idea is they throw out enough damage with the Banshee. You know, they light the hull on fire or light components on fire, cause enough chaos, and then they can just burn through the hull. Little bit of a scary proposition if the enemy team is chem spray, but I mean, if you have two other allies to disable, that could get going pretty quick if the Fozzie comes in a little bit after its allies.
Absolutely. We are 3-0 in favor of the blue team so far in this first game of the Iron Fork of Friend. Again, thank you so much for joining us, folks. Shots are going out from the blue team, but it's only exposing their position as it stands. Nothing in range or in sight for them. The red team has huddled in the far back corner near their spawn, down in, what is that? That's 2E, as the mini map shows us. And they have quite literally huddled together for the purposes of safety, survival, being warm, and hunting for food. I'm sorry, that was
right now
coming in there for a second. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Looking like they want to move a little bit forward. Fozzie the Pyrrha gonna lead the way. I want to see where the chem spray is. No chem spray. Doesn't look like on the abdicative. On the dory, no chem spray. Aboard the mummy, one chem spray. They're gonna keep cycles going on the bottom deck, but
Abdicative
two
and
ships without
Abdicative
chem
and the
spray.
Dory were trying to sneak down using this rock ridge.
Rock Ridge.
But Dory did get spotted there for just a second. Fozzie also got spotted, I believe, by the mummy. Mummy is exposed. Fozzie is shooting the Banshees as best it can, as best the crew can. No fires lit, though. That's critical.
Fire is not going to be a big issue, like that little bit, since they have a bunch of extinguishers instead of chem spray.
Yep.
It's when they get in there and start really loading it in that's going to be strong. Fozzie the Pirate eating some Gatling, a lot of it going wide, though.
A lot of it going wide, and a lot of it
Dory's
going into
armor's
the
down,
balloon.
though. Nerf's Warcry doing a huge amount of damage from a long distance. This is the power of the Mercury, Dan.
Merc Flag. I'm shocked I haven't seen it before, really, but good lord.
There it goes.
Nerves Warcry and Fozzie the Pirate rip that
Circumflex.
goldfish to shreds.
Circumflex eating some mortar, but able to get the armor up nice and quick. Fozzie the Pirate gonna start loading up the mummy. No fires really coming out right
Nerves
now.
Warcry and Fozzie pinching the mummy. It's gonna go down to just sheer damage output.
That was called a sandwich.
Woo!
And that's going to be 5-0 for the blue team right now. Abdicative trying to pop balloons as it moves forward. Dory coming in a little bit far away for that Watcher barrage. Abdicative going to throw out some flamethrower on the Circumflex. None of it lands, though. No, there's a little bit.
Tarcloud coming out from the Abdicative. Circumflex accent and getting hit by it ever so gently, trying to plow its way through those tar clouds without too much damage being done. Abdicative bounces, loses a lot of its momentum, and tried to get across the ridge before it descended, but that just did not happen. Dory and Mummy are coming in, trying to put pressure on the blue team as a whole, but they aren't really focusing their fire right now. Abdicative getting hit by the Circumflex, a nudge get the kill.
Nerf's Warcry in a scary position, though. The broadside is exposed. The Mummy taking advantage of it, but the Dory's armor is about to go down. Circumflex accent throws out the balloon. Hull down low. It's at 1/3. It's continuing to bounce. Balloon comes back up, but they've neglected their armor. There it comes back up. Fozzie the Pirate
Circumflex is coming
a
in.
little bit late.
Circumflex is coming in. He's going to get
There
the
it
kill.
is.
He gets the win. Blue team gets the win. Great teamwork from the blue team there. Amazing teamwork. First win of the Iron Fork of Friday for this Friday the 13th. Go to the blue team. Congratulations, blue team.
Yeah, I gotta say, that Merc and Echidna really decided it. Like, they did a really... I don't know. It's surprisingly powerful. I think Hades Echidna is generally done because of the armor stripping potential of the Hades. But the Mercury, it has really reliable hull stripping potential.
It
at
does.
range.
Charged ammo loaded into a Mercury can obliterate a hull. I think it's 3 shots. Can take down the armor on almost any ship.
Oh, yeah, Desert Scrap.
Oh, is it time? It's time for a King of the
Yes.
Hill match.
Yeah.
And
Why
I
the
just
heck not?
realized I don't have my OBS remote set up anymore. Crap.
Uh-oh.
That's no good. I had last week I had to take out Rob's IP of it. Oh, Rob already messaged me it in chat. Thank you, Rob. Oh my god, I'm an idiot.
I realized during the first match, it's like, wait a minute, he doesn't have my IP address anymore.
No, I don't.
Ha.
So, with that being said, exactly why haven't we seen Merc Echidna before? What's the big deal? Why hasn't that happened?
Because people don't like the Merc. Like, the big problem with it is the really small arcs. That being said, it also can be effective on the front of a Pyramidium because you don't have to worry about range. There's no arming time. It just all gets loaded in whatever range. And it has a practically infinite range. It can stretch. I mean, I remember, once upon a time firing the Merc, across northern fjords, like literally all the way across.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous. So any range, it can be really strong. And it's reliable. It's reliable hull armor damage. But the problem with it is that it's not as heavy. You don't get as much damage output from it, even if it's reliable. I don't know. I think it's fine. I think it's a fine trade-off. And I think that if Merc was taken more, we'd see more armor breaks than we do. But the Hades is just the more imposing weapon. And so a lot of people are willing to take that, and they say, okay, well, if we just have a good Hades gunner, then we can make up for it. But we see a lot of ship movement, and so it's difficult to land the Hades at any kind of range. But when you load Lesmok into the Echidna, or even Greased or Charge or whatever, it still has a decent range, especially with Lesmok. And so you just get reliable damage coming out from the Mercury and Echidna. That being
Absolutely.
said, the damage potential is significantly less. And that's why.
Gotcha. Okay. We do have a few moments before we get into the next game here of the Iron Fork of Friday for this Friday the 13th, June 13th. Would you like to go over some predictions for the Hephaestus Challenge? Because I do have some.
Yeah, sure.
I do have some. So, looking over the schedules and whatnot that we have for the weeks going forward and going into the postseason, as it would be, Cake has their schedule is a little soft. I'll call it soft. Their schedule isn't incredibly harsh. So with the 2-0 start they've had, and with a possible 3-0 if they can take on Sky Invading Rhinos this weekend,
But you're convinced they can.
What's that?
But you're convinced they can.
I feel they have a strong chance of doing it. Sky Invading Rhinos, their shows were a little shaky past the first 2 weeks, so I feel like Cake has a pretty good momentum going into this next game. Now, sometimes that can be a downfall. Hubris before the fall, as one might say, but we'll see how that turns out. But if they can overcome Sky Invading Rhinos, going into the next couple weeks after that, they have a very easy schedule. So
they kind of do. Zil's Merryman has been having trouble.
Yeah,
recently.
so I think that might help carry them to the postseason. I think they might get to the postseason based off of the fact that they're going into Game 3 with a very solid momentum. They played very well, and their schedule isn't incredibly tough.
Yeah, I mean, they're going up against the Holy Roman Army, which is going to be really tough.
Yeah, that's week 7, I think.
Yeah, that's way far in the future. They're going up against Holy Roman Army. But then, after that, they have Black Flight Squadron, which, if current play is any indicator, I think they can take. I mean, they're through the most of the thick of it. I think that the Holy Roman Army is going to get them. But Cake has already beaten Art of Warfare. They've already, which is, relatively simple. But they've beaten Sacrilege, which is one of the big contenders in the Anvil division.
Mm-hmm.
They're going up against Sky Invading Rhinos, which coming into it was sort of predicted, I think, to be one of the big players. Hasn't been showing too much. Zil's Merry Men has been showing that they've been having a little bit of trouble. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that they've got a really good shot at making it into the postseason.
Yeah. I also think another one of my predictions for this one, I think the Glowwater Thralls are going to have a very solid run. They don't have an easy schedule, but they have teams I feel like they can take up until they hit Overwatch and Riders. At that point, things may get a little bumpy for them, but overall, I think the Water Thralls, they have a very solid run ahead of them. I think they're going to do really well. They have had a very good showing so far, much like Riders, but once they hit Overwatch Riders, things may start to get a bit shaky.
I don't know. I think I have a little bit more faith in the Glowwater Thralls than you do, just because, to me, they are the best team right now. With the absence of the Mandarins. The Mandarins were the best, and then they stepped down. And now I think the Glowwater Thralls are pretty much the best. They fly really well, and their tactics are unmatched so far. They're the only team that can actually manage to split up and reliably get kills off of that strategy.
Mm-hmm.
No other team can do that. It's even against the best teams, they can set the best teams on the back foot, and it's something that I haven't ever seen any other team do. And so I think, like, let's see, Musosaurs, they beat him pretty easy. Mad Hatters, I think that's going to be a Glowwater victory.
Yep.
But I feel
Yep.
like, they're going to be fighting a lot of really good teams, but they're going to be able to outmatch him.
Again, that's what I'm saying. I think Glowwater Thrall is going to have a very solid competitive run up until the point in which they get to Overwatch and Riders, and then they have a challenge.
They might have a challenge. I still think that they can do it.
They can't. No, I wouldn't disagree with that. They have all likelihood of winning, just like any other team that goes into it. But that's where they're going to have the most trouble. Also, looking over the schedules, Sacrilege, they've had a bumpy start so far. I think they're going to continue to struggle a little bit. Their schedule is difficult. The teams they face are pretty solid. They have a couple games that I'm pretty sure they can win, but they also have a couple games that I think are they're gonna make them struggle. So I think they're gonna continue struggling through the rest of the tournament. They might make the postseason. I'm not sure, to be completely honest. It depends whether or not they can really recompose themselves after this week and move forward.
See, what's the line? The top what teams?
I don't know, to be completely honest. I think it's the top 3, 4. Someone will correct me in chat. Someone will correct me.
Well, we have the silver bracket, and then we go into a gold bracket. But what's going to be the cutoff for the silver bracket?
I am not sure.
I'm going to go check real quick.
Not too terribly sure. In addition, the Clamor has Muse this week. I think they're going to use this week as a...
Okay, here we go. 66% of the teams will be advanced to the silver playoffs. So 2/3.
Okay. Sacrilege is probably going to get to the playoffs then.
Yeah, so the bottom 4 teams are going to get cut out.
Mm-hmm.
So Sacrilege isn't going to have a problem. They're going to get to the
Sacrilege is going to make it to the postseason. Okay. I think Clamor, I will save that for afterwards. We're getting started on Desert Scrap here, the second game of the Iron Fork of Friday here on twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show, and in Guns of Icarus Online. Oracle, you know what you need to do. Tell us about the map.
Desert Scrap is really big and open, but none of it matters because the only spot that matters is the very center inside the Leviathan, which is an absolute frag fest. It's really tight quarters. It's tons of brawling. You see a lot of mines, but it's King of the Hill. Like, the only spot that matters in this arena is that center of the map.
Absolutely.
And the teams are going to be vying for it hard. The first engagement is going to be incredibly important.
Alrighty, going over the ship loads here very quickly. We have the Circumflex Accent. It's a Hwachafish piloted by Melima Crabernathy. Flamers on the sides. We have the Dory, another Hwachafish piloted by Akumi, with a Gat and a Mortar on the sides. And we have the VSS Mummy piloted by Acronymus with a Gat Mortar front, a Flamer, and Carinate on the sides. Go ahead, Oracle.
And for the blue team, we have the Firework, a Pyramidion being piloted by Fox. It has 3 Banshees, 2 on the front, 1 on the port side, and a Carinade to boot. Aboard the Pettifoggery, a Squid being piloted by James T. Kirk. We have a Flamethrower on the front, Flamethrower on the starboard, and a Banshee on the back. And aboard the Poke, a Pyramidion being piloted by Abby the Rat. We have Gat Mortar forward, a Flamethrower and Mine Launcher on the port side for a little bit of defense. Firework already throwing down some fire on the Dory.
Pettifoggery is getting the hammer dropped on a Circumflex as it comes in for a ram, nearly gets the kill, but isn't quite able to close the deal. Dory's coming in to try and finish him off. Circumflex Accent, though, is in a very bad position.
Whoa!
Firework gets a nasty bounce on the Dory. Oh my goodness. Dory looks to be in a very bad situation. They're getting flamed everywhere. Lots of components on fire. Armor is down. Hull is taking serious damage. They're getting gatted in the balloon, but it isn't quite enough. They hold things together. Both teams are on top of each other on the point. It is crazy.
Hey, baby, I'll gat you in your balloon.
Whoa. Circumflex Accent loses its balloon as well and its armor. Circumflex Accent is bouncing against the edge of the Sarlacc pit, it looks like. Yeah. They aren't caught, are they?
No, they're okay. They just need to move forward. Pettifoggery goes down.
First kill blood. That was the Pettifoggery, the Squid piloted by Jacob.
Yep, Dory gets that first kill. Now moving in on the Firework. Gets a bump. Hwacha almost in arc. Gatling firing down. Firework's armor is holding. All engines are up. But there's the Hwacha. Gonna only disable 2 guns. 3 guns. And, no, armor's fine. Mummy, however, not looking so hot.
Mummy is in just a little bit of trouble from the looks of things. Firework and Poke both putting a lot of pressure on, but Poke goes down first. Their armor went down and Hull absolutely disintegrated. Mummy's armor goes down, but it doesn't look to be a huge concern. Red team has this one wrapped up, at least for the time being, it looks like. Except Pettifoggery's coming back in.
Yep,
Pettifoggery is back in.
This is why you take a squid. You go down, you come right back in, and you just keep denying the point. There goes the firework, though. Now the Pettifoggery is in a really scary spot. Poke still about half a minute out, and a squid can go down very quickly in the point.
I can only imagine that the engineers are going to go to a full repair cycle here on that ship in uno momento. A lot of shots being taken by the Pettifoggery.
Nope.
Gets insta-gibbed.
No dice. Yeah, look at all these gamer terms are coming out. Fragged, insta-gibbed. Man, we're on it.
That was insane. Now, one thing that accounted for that kill there was the power of the Hwacha. Now, the Hwacha, for those that don't know, shoots out an immense barrage of tiny little dumbfire rockets that sent explosions all over the place. All of those shots hitting the back end of a squid is absolutely brutal, because that's where all the components are focused in. All those engine column parts, the balloon is there,
Firework.
and you're going to hit some other things at the same time. Absolutely devastating to a squid to get hit from behind by Hwacha. Great shots from the Circumflex Accent and the Mummy on the Poke. Poke is going to go down here. Firework coming in, bouncing the door here all over the place. Pettifoggery's back in too. That's a killed goldfish.
Yep, Poke going down as well. Mummy getting the better of it. Now it's a 2-on-2, but the Circumflex and the Mummy both do not have gun arcs. Pettifoggery loading up the Circumflex with fire, and there are enough components that not chem spray that this is going to be significant. Pettifoggery going to lock down the Circumflex while the Firework tries to deal with the Mummy. Mummy turning over to try and help its ally. Banshee coming out and do a little bit of hull damage, but now the Pettifoggery has the bad side of the Mummy facing it.
Great Hwacha burst there from the Circumflex Accent. Mummy's coming in, finishes him off. Great kill for the red team. Firework is still in the fight, though, and causing some problems for the Circumflex Accent. Those Banshees are ripping it to shreds.
The only thing it's really doing is lighting a bunch of fires. Armor's down, though. This is an opportunity for them to take out the Circumflex, and they're going to take it. Circumflex goes down. Now it's just the Firework and the Mummy, but the Mummy has gap mortar arcs on the back of the Firework, but the Firework backs up, bumps those guns out of arc, and now their butts are facing one another. Dust Cloud coming in. It's going to be difficult for them to fight this at all, and this is going to give time for the other ships to come in. First one for assistance, the Poke.
Firework was using its rear end there for a moment to hold the Mummy in position while other ships came in. The Poke, though, needs to make sure it's checking its fire. It's actually firing on the Firework, an ally there for just a minute. Poke coming in on the side, not able to get any kind of good arc, has given up its position entirely so far.
Poke made a big mistake here, but the Firework and the Pettifoggery are both here. They might be able to take out the Mummy. We're looking at 150 points or so out of 600 for the red team. Can they take out the Mummy fast enough? Flamer comes out. Little bit more. That's going to be it. Firework gets the kill. Dory coming in to try and block it. 3 on the point, but they are going to get the block, but they are going to put themselves in a very compromising position.
Dory is getting hammered right now. There's no way it survives.
Circumflex coming in for a block as well, but I'm worried it might go down just as fast. Where's the block?
The goldfish has some survivability to it, but that flamer, oh no, the flamer's not really going to do anything. It's a really good chem spray rotation going on in the Circumflex.
There's the rail on the
It's a good
Pettifoggery.
ram!
That's what happens when you put a squid up against the wall. It gets flung right into it. Firework loading up the Circumflex Accent's hull. Armor goes down. Mortar not quite in arc. Gets the bump. Gonna throw the guns out of arc. Circumflex gets to survive a little bit longer and delay this. As this fight goes on, the red team is accumulating points. They are a third of the way to victory as the Mummy comes in for defense. Red team looking to lock this point back down.
It's a serious struggle here. Blue had a great opportunity to get this game locked down, or at least flip the point to start getting some points on the board. It did not happen. One of the blue ships had a miss arc happening and was targeting the wrong ship. And as it stands, because of that, red team has a very good opportunity here to hold on to the point.
Still, Circumflex Accent makes a big mistake and goes down. So does the Firework. Right now, it's 2v2. Pettifoggery coming around behind the dory, but you have a Pura Goldfish against a Pura Squid. I'm going to go for the Pura Goldfish here, especially now that the poke is in such a bad position.
Dory, though, in a bad position as well.
Bumped down into the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
This is not the position they want to be in. I don't think they're going to quite die from it, but the Pettifoggery gets showered in the remains of its ally, and the Dory and the Mummy are going to get Arc on the Pettifoggery pretty darn quick.
Not what they wanted in any way, shape, or form. Pettifoggery just lighting up the Dory as best it can with his flamethrowers. I do believe that's Lesmok ammunition they're using. I
Sounded like heavy. Yeah, that's heavy.
Oh, it was heavy? Okay.
Yeah, heavy can be really good on the flamethrower if you want to target a specific thing.
That's true. Dory is completely disabled right now. All of its engines are down. Its balloon is back up, and it's trying to burn kerosene to get out of this nasty pit that it's laid itself in.
Firework coming down to try and finish it off, but it just ends up throwing itself into the tar puddle. There it goes. Engines are not looking great.
We've just passed the 300-point mark for the red team. They have held onto it the entire time here. Clouds clear and shots are fired. Firework getting obliterated. Nudged against the wall. It could go down here if the Mummy focuses its fire along with the Circumflex Accent, but it may not happen.
Yeah, it's backing up, trying to dodge the shots of the poke, but the broadside is showing. Still, manages to avoid a lot of the damage. The poke instead choosing to target a different target. Mummy goes down. Good move from the poke, just letting the Circumflex back up and freak out. But the poke is now in a very bad position. Its engines are going to get ground down by the Dory, and I don't think the Pettifoggery can do enough fast enough. Neither can the Firework. I think this is going to be the last hurrah of the poke.
I would agree. I don't think blue team has the kill power to take out these two goldfish before we hit the point of no return.
No, I think that there's a little bit of an over-reliance on fire on the part of the blue team. Like right now, we see the chem spray, any chem spray is completely countering the Pettifoggery and the Firework. Banshee comes out on the Circumflex, not going to land. In the meantime, the Mummy coming back into the fight, going to get behind the Firework. I think that this may be the last engagement for blue team. We're sitting on 2/3 of the way for the red team. Poke, it's a big ram though.
Great pinch from the poke. I did not see that happening, but they got a really good angle on it. They're okay. Wow. Red team and blue team whittling down each other's numbers time after time.
There it is. There's the neutral. Blue team neutralizes the point.
It seemed like red team was on the point. Well enough. Why did that happen?
Watch, that was just like not being in quite the right place. I think that's all it was.
Gotcha. Okay. That's still really weird.
Yep, Circumflex not looking so great. Mummy not getting arcs on the poke. They're having a little bit of trouble here. They're going too far. Poke's going to get a big advantage. Mummy, what are you doing?
Oh my
Stop
goodness.
showing them your butt. Stop presenting yourself.
Butt has been presented. Gats are happening. Mortars are happening. Most of those mortars go off arc though and don't actually hit the Mummy. Still, Mummy is looking very bad. They have only 1 of 4 guns available. No guns available now because of the dust cloud. Circumflex Accent is trying to get an angle to fire. There we go. Watch the shots going out. Burst ammo loaded up. Poke has been heavily disabled.
Everything that could be disabled is disabled.
Ooh, very nasty. Red team is trying to struggle to get control of the point back.
Ooh, big ram. That's just going to take out the balloon of the Circumflex Accent, and it's going to throw them out of arc. They're out of this fight again. They're down in the Sarlacc pit. Dory not going to be able to get arcs. Red team really not doing a great job of getting their arcs back. Mummy, though, getting some good gap mortar onto the squid. Armor back down. Can't quite get the kill, though. They're having a little bit of trouble as the Pettifoggery loads fire into the Dory. Firework coming in to try and finish this off.
It looks like there might be some server issues
Whoop.
going on. Just a few server issues happening right now. Melon McCrabbernathy has said that he is essentially getting a slideshow of exactly what's going on.
That's
so
not
it looks
server. That's going to be client side if they're getting bad frame rate.
Possibly. There have been server issues associated with that as well.
Yeah, you see flamethrower and then dust doesn't help frame rate at all either.
Yeah. Yep. Dory is stuck in the Sarlacc pit from the looks of things. Can they even get out? Yeah, okay, yeah, they can. They can slide forward. But Firework is coming to try and finish him off. Not a good situation for the Dory. Mummy is getting hit as well. Gat fire coming in from the poke. We should see mortars ever so shortly. There they are. Early in timing, but not bad at all.
Zip zop zoppity bop. Firework turning on the circumflex. The Dory's still stuck down in the Sarlacc pit. Feel like these goldfish are just getting thrown down into it over and over again. Firework getting the arc. Armor goes down. And the poke is going to have some sweet, sweet mortars. Armor comes back up just in time. Gatling going to get loaded in once again, though. I think that this is going to be the end of the accent. There it goes.
I'm kind of curious as to why the goldfish love the Sarlacc pit so much today. Seems like they're always hopping down in there.
Well, I think it has to do with the rams. I mean, the goldfish are ramming, but I mean, when you ram with the goldfish, more often than not, you're going to be hitting it with your balloon.
Blue team has swung the point. Blue team has swung the point in their favor. They're going to start getting points from it. If they can hold on to it, they could win this.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, right now, I feel like they have a decent team to hold on to it. There goes the Dory. Red team, though, they do have the Circumflex and Mummy. I feel like I like red team's composition a little bit better.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
So blue team, I think, is going to struggle a little bit, especially with this dust cloud coming in. Red team is riding on. I keep using so many cliches. It's coming in right behind this dust cloud. And it's going, and that means that all the blue ships are going to be damaged, and the Firework isn't even facing the ships. It's showing its broadside to the Mummy, and it's going to pay for it.
Ouch. Great burst watcher there from the Circumflex accent. Mummy is getting hit, though, very hard. Do they have their front guns available even? I think they're broken.
Yeah, I don't think they can do it. Armor's down. Watcher gets loaded in. Good hull damage.
Oh
Bump.
my god.
Ooh.
Firework
That was close.
Firework has maybe a pixel of hull, of perma hull left. Barely anything.
I can actually check this. Hold on.
Mummy is getting eaten alive by the Gat mortar of the poke.
2 pixels.
Just a few more shots, and they're gonna go down here. Mortars go out before the hull breaks, though. Hull has happened. There it is. The Mummy goes down to the poke. Poke is continuing to rack up the kills on this one.
By the way, the Firework has 4 pixels of health.
That's
all
dedication
it's got
right
left.
there. That is dedication.
Circumflex accent, not looking so great. Getting bumped around by the Firework pretty hard, but the Flamethrower is coming out defensively. It's getting rammed up against the wall, though, and the Banshees are going to finish it off. Blue team running a pretty hard defense. Not bad. Pettifoggery loading up the Dory. Only has that one Flamethrower, though. Watcher going to come out, disable everything. However, the poke is right behind the Dory, ready to tear into that broadside. Mortars came out a little bit early.
Blue team has done a very good job of taking this game back. They were down 400-0. They were able to swing the point because red team wasn't focusing exactly on where their ships were positioned, and they have continued to hold the point.
Space Whale says, do I see a comeback? The answer is maybe. We're coming up on 200 points for the blue team, and their hull not looking amazing. Firework trying to come in from behind. You see, like, there is that hull that they've been using to get in. That's pretty speedy. Comes around from behind. Good defensive position, but the red team coming in mostly together. They're waiting right now. They are waiting for the Dory, and then I think they're going to try for a full-on charge. If this doesn't go well, though, because of this waiting time, this could mean another 200 points for the blue team.
That'd make it not only a tie, but it would make it a possible win for the blue team. they would be very close to that win point.
Yeah, 3 minutes on the point is not actually that long in this game. Like, this game is much slower paced than a lot of other games, especially like capture the flag can be sometimes. I'm not capture the flag,
The
point
red
capture.
team is moving in together. Dory, Circumflex Accent, and VSS Mummy all together. Watch a shot going out in unison. Immense fire laid on the firework. It has been pretty much taken out of combat for at least a few moments. Poke and Pettifoggery are both trying to hold off the red team as best they can. Pettifoggery getting in with the flamethrowers to try and fend off that goldfish moving in on the firework. But Circumflex Accent is out for blood. They're putting a lot of pressure on that Pyramidion.
Ooh, Poke goes down. Red team managing to sort of cordon him off as the Dory and the Mummy load into him. Circumflex has been tanking pretty hard. Armor's down, but I don't think it's going to take too much damage from this. Armor's back up, gets the ram on the Pettifoggery. This is a huge win for Red team. They break it out into a 2v1 for them, but then in their 1v2, they almost get a kill. Like, Red team is doing phenomenally right now.
Very impressive work so far from the red team, coming in and breaking up the blockade that Blue had set up on the point to try and hold on to it. Circumflex Accent is doing a number on the firework, but Circumflex Accent lost their balloon. They're going to be taking some damage here from the ground. They do take out the firework, though, making it so only one blue ship is on the point, and that's the Pettifoggery.
Yep, just barely on the point, but they're going to get loaded into by the Dory. Almost. Ah, there we go. Poke coming in for the defense, though. They're going to get a ram on the Mummy, and they get the block.
Ooh,
Poke managing to get a good ram. Finishes off the Mummy, loading it into that broadside. Now the Dory is going to be the next target. No, it's not. They're just going to go up high and try and buy time for the firework and the Pettifoggery to come back in.
This is absolutely the best decision they could possibly make. Don't engage, just block.
Yep, right now, blue team is getting closer and closer to that point of no return, that scary point where, like, victory is, like, is obtained, where there's nothing the red team can do. Firework coming in. The Dory rising up. Circumflex Accent still very low. Gatling getting loaded into that broadside. Armor's down. The Poke is doing this.
The Poke just got Goomba stomped by its own ship, but I don't think it's going to do too terribly much. Circumflex Accent is trying to bring the Hwacha in range, but they just do not have arc. The Pettifoggery coming in from behind the Circumflex Accent. Dory is getting focused. This is immense. Amazing work by the blue team.
Yep, the Poke made the right decision, just bought time for its allies to come back in, and now the Firework and the Pettifoggery doing great work on these two ships as their guns were out of arc. Banshee firing out on the Dory while the Flamethrower goes in the Circumflex. Pettifoggery doing a lot of work to defend this point right now. Poke drops down a little bit, but it's done its job. The Firework should be able to do something here.
One of the beauties of the squid as they get loaded into with a Hwacha is that the area around the ship and the flexibility of the ship that they can cover makes it so they can hit a ship from almost any angle. If they come in, they can quickly spin. They have ships that point three different they have guns rather that point three different directions. It's an amazing ship to harass and to distract and to keep the focus on it versus on what actually needs to be focused on, which is the point. Poke is pushing the Circumflex Accent back along with the Firework. Pettifoggery sitting on the point along with the Mummy and the Dory of the red team.
Mummy loading in mortar into the balloon of the Pettifoggery. Does it actually light any fires? No. Pettifoggery doing okay right now. The Dory, though, right behind him, gonna try to load it into those engines. Only takes down the Flamethrower. Pettifoggery doing a great job right now. Firework loading up. Banshee into the Mummy, but the Mummy getting the better of the Poke. The Poke moving away, but it's moving into a dust cloud. Right now, I think the Poke might go down as the Circumflex Accent comes back in.
The Mummy's able to swing really well, try and follow the Poke. Gat Mortar still being loaded into the Poke from the side. The Mummy has a great profile shot available to it right now. So those shots are going to continue to land. Mortar shots happen way too early, though. Poke has a chance to get their armor back up. Firework and Pettifoggery are doing what they can on the point. Dory is unable to take down the Pettifoggery there, although Pettifoggery has lost all of its engines. The Circumflex Accent coming in for a bump on the Firework. Doesn't really do anything, though.
Nope. Goldfish is too light. Pyramidian's too heavy. Like, Pyramidian is a very heavy ship. Watcher goes out on the Firework, though, disables all the engines. Firework in a very scary position, still has Banshee Arc on the Dory. Armor goes down, they get the kill anyways. But now the Mummy looking to take out the Firework. Pettifoggery still on the point. Firework still barely on the point. We'll see where the Pope decides to spawn in.
In just a few short moments, we will be at the point of no return, and blue team will have pulled a very successful comeback over the red team in this situation.
Maybe. Pettifoggery goes down. Firework's the only one left on the point, but it's in a good position to buy time. It's behind the Mummy. I'd almost say, like, just stay behind it. Rise up right now. It's backing up hard. Bumps against the wall. It's going to slow down its ascent because that damage did get loaded into the balloon, but I think it's going to be okay. Nope. Watcher comes out. Doesn't disable anything important. Disables the Banshees, but they can repair those quick. The engines are still up, and that's the important thing.
The Poke is moving in very quickly. It takes some shots from the Dory, but it doesn't really do much. Firework is still sitting on the point. We're at 590 points. Blue team is going to get the win on this one as well. Red team nearly had it, but they lost the point. They weren't able to resecure it, and blue team was able to hold on to it with an iron grip.
An iron fork, if you will.
Whoa! Whoa,
Indeed.
that just happened.
It happens so many times you have no idea.
Again, we saw some really good flying here. Some very impressive flying.
Also some goofiness. I'd say like a lot of the I'd say the goofiest things we saw were the Pyramidians like throwing their guns out of arc or like unnecessarily.
The biggest mistake had to be when which was one of the
Mummy
blue ships
when the Mummy showed his rump.
Yeah, well, that too, but when one of the blue ships was coming in to the point and they had the goldfish, the red goldfish right in their mark, but instead they fired on their
ally,
Pyramidian that they had right next to them. They had that red ship dead to rights, but instead they had the wrong target. So it happens. It's unfortunate.
What a goof.
We're going to Battle on the Dunes. Battle on the Dunes now, third map for this Iron Fork of Friday. This Friday the 13th, June 13th, 2014. And thank you for joining us here on twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show. We broadcast every single week plenty of Guns of Icarus online esports action. Also, Oracle has his own stream available at twitch.tv/4thOracle. You do a lot of stuff over there.
Yeah. I've been recently mostly been doing Guns of Icarus, but I've been streaming a little bit of other stuff here and there, a little bit of FTL, a little bit of Natural Selection too.
Yeah, I saw you hop at that the other night.
Yeah. I was playing it last night too. I wasn't streaming it last night, but I had one of the most humbling experiences like of my life that night. I command in that game. I pretty much never play on the ground. I'm pretty much always commander. Because there's need for it and I love it. Like for those of you who don't know, Natural Selection 2 it's an FPS RTS where every unit is a player. Mm-hmm. And then you have a commander who watches over all of it and for each side that builds buildings, like orders people around, that kind of thing. And it's pretty neat. It's a lot of fun. I'd highly recommend checking it out.
Does the RTS resource management and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. Like the goal is to take out, enemy resource nodes, enemy tech nodes, research. And I'm going up against this guy. I'm playing Marine Commander. I'm more comfortable with Alien Commander, but I've been playing I've been playing Marines recently to try and really get it down and get better at it. And I've logged, I've logged a fair bit. Let's see, Natural Selection 2. I see you got the trailer going.
Yeah, this is I believe this is the suit. The
Onos. Onos is amazing.
Continue.
Odos? Okay, anyway. So I played a grand total of 88 hours as of last night. This guy this other enemy commander has played a total of over 1,300 hours, which is just insane. And this guy is just so obviously better than me. Like, so ridiculously obviously better than me. And because he's like microing his drifter, and he's doing all these micro things, and like it's really obvious he's telling his dudes where to go. And I just am like nowhere near like this guy's level. And only because we kind of do a fluke strategy do we win. Like we won it, but I was just so outclassed. It was so humbling, and I was so glad that I won, and it felt really epic. But at the same time, just like I shouldn't have won that. Like, I did not deserve to win that. Exosuits, actually not as good as jetpacks.
Sadly, not as good as jetpacks.
Yeah, they could be good. It depends on which build route you go. I think in certain circumstances it may be better to research exosuits, like get dual miniguns, but like those points are rare.
Powerful.
Yeah, dual minigun is really powerful, but at the same time, like generally you just want jetpacks.
Yeah. And that sucks too, because the whole exosuit thing was a big buildup.
I think that is kind of underrated. I think that especially if you get the ability that reduces damage by like 35% for 5 seconds. Like if you get that going, I'd say that's not worth researching unless you have dudes in exosuits. But you can reduce damage. You can reduce damage for your allies, like as a commander. And I'd say like you can do that on an exosuit, and it can be really effective.
Okay,
that's just me. Though.
We are playing Guns of Icarus online. This is the Iron Fork of Friday. Oracle just needed a moment.
I needed a moment to appreciate how good this commander was.
There we go. Going back to what we were talking about earlier with predictions for the Hephaestus Challenge. Again, Hephaestus Challenge tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Looking at what the Clamor has been doing. Clamor, it's a Ducks team. They're good. They're very good. By the way, there is space in the lobby if you guys want to get in on it. There are 2 spaces currently. I just joined by finding the Iron Fork of Friday number 29 and getting the password from Global Chat. It's in there.
It's Iridium here.
It's Iridium. Yeah, Iridium if you guys want the password.
That's a really good song, by the way.
It
by
is?
Dark Tranquillity. Have you ever heard that song?
No.
I can link it.
That's okay.
Okay.
The Clamor has gone 1-1 so far. They're a Ducks team. Their training is pretty intense. I think, they have Muse this week. They have a chance to build up their confidence a little bit. And I think they use this as a building block to really take things to the next level in the center, in the center of the tournament and the latter half of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last prediction is that because of their schedule and because of how absolutely solid they've been so far, I think Holy Roman Army trips this week on Riders. I think Riders take them down. It's going to be a very close game, though. An extremely close game. And I think they recover very well and continue doing very well throughout the rest of the tournament. HRA has had an amazing showing so far. And I think, much like Cake, they are going to get to the postseason. Our dark horses are going to make it through. Yeah,
I mean, Cake... I think they've already done well enough to get to the silver bracket. My question is, what are they going to do when they get there?
That's the big question. That is the big question. They're going to have to, really put their money where their mouth is and take down some major teams like they did with Sacrilege and say, well, we're going to use every opportunity we have to our advantage.
Yeah.
Because the timeout rules, the time limit rules are very specific, and they can be used by teams to win. Just in week 2, HRA and Cake both used them to their advantage to get wins. That shows people who are thinking outside, not necessarily outside the box. I hate that term, but who are thinking on their feet, who are trying to use every opportunity available to them. And I like that. I think that's the kind of attitude that's going to get tournament wins.
I think right now there's kind of a sense of dishonor using the using the time limit to your advantage. But I don't know. I don't see the dishonor in it. I mean, it's a tool. I mean, you use the tools.
It's a tournament mechanic. It's a tournament mechanic, just like every other tournament mechanic. If you get the win, you get the win. That's how
it's there to use. I mean, and Cake did it great. I still can't believe that it was such an active sniping.
Did
match.
you see the video of Kirk explaining the tactic?
No.
Okay, I gotta link you this
Okay.
because it's perfect. I'm gonna link this in the mods chat so you can see it too, Rob.
Okay.
If I can load it here. Can I load it? There
I'm
we
wondering
go.
if I'm thinking about streaming after the Metamidian.
What's
today.
that?
I'm thinking about streaming after the Metamidian, streaming some natural selection.
I might have to join you for that. Depends on because
That'd
I'm
be
recording
sweet.
the interview tonight real quick. So if I have time, I might join you. But that is the video that
Mhm.
I was referring to.
The secret,
Rob, did you want to play that video real quick?
the secret to Cake victory. It's a minute 43.
Let's just play the video for the stream.
Okay. Bring that up here and bring up the volume.
And he's coming in hot, and oh, an impressive ram by Cake. But if they want to win this, they've got to get out of here.
This is great.
Run away, run away, run away from the stench and the trenches. Run away, from these horrible, nasty old trenches. These frogs with their terrible prattle are fighting a battle with cattle. We're all full of fear.
121 views.
Run away, run away.
Show it on stream, man.
Oh, whoops.
Oh my God, Rob!
You're gonna have to start that over, I think.
Whoops. You were talking about the Hephaestus, so I switched over to the standby part.
Oh my God,
No.
Bam.
Rob, you had one job.
I know, and I blow it.
Coming in hot, and oh, an impressive ram by Cake. But if they want to win this, they've got to get out of here.
By the way, this audio is from the off-Broadway
Spamalot.
musical Spamalot.
Run away, run away, run away from the stench and the trenches. Run away, from these horrible, nasty old trenches. These frogs with their terrible prattle are fighting a battle with cattle. We're all full of fear, so let's get out of here. Run away, run away, run away.
It goes on like this.
Oh, we have our next
Yep,
game.
we're going underway.
Okay.
Battle of the Dunes is the map. Oracle, tell us about it.
Sure, Battle on the Dunes. It's big, it's snipey, not that much cover. What more do you want? Let's go ahead and go through the red team. We have the Light Dimmer, a goldfish being piloted by Abby the Rat. Lumberjack on the front, mine launchers on both sides. For the Drunken Holly, a junker being piloted by Akumi. We have Gat Mortar Port, Artemis up front, another Gat Mortar on the starboard for lots of brawl. And aboard the Thunder Horse. I like the reference. Good job. Being piloted by Hazard Life. We have a Gat Mortar on the port of this junker, Artemis on front, another Gat Mortar on the starboard.
Alrighty. On Darwin's Eulogy, piloted by Fox.
Facts.
Fox. It's not Q Fox P, it's Fox. It's a lumberfish with double Banshee. Nishi's mustache on the lumberjack. I don't normally see banshees and lumberjacks combined with each other, but hey, it might work out. We have the prevaricative, Jacob piloting his near unpronounceable junker. On the right-hand side, Hades and Flak front flamer, and left-hand side double flamer. That triple flamer there, that can be very devastating if you can get all three in arc at once. We also have, on the blue side of things, the Ariel, piloted by Jake Sparrow, Watch Aspire, with Artemis, Banshee, and Banshee in support. Going over what's exactly happened so far. No ships.
Not much.
Yeah, nothing broken just yet, really. Nothing.
Yep, they're doing okay.
Well, that's the game. Good night now.
No, Drunken Holly moving in. They want to try to get some sort of arc for their gap mortars, but I'm not sure they're going to be allowed that. Darwin's Eulogy sniping out. Ariel's balloon goes down, though. The light dimmer not having a single problem hitting that balloon on the spire, and they're bouncing. They're taking Hull.
That is pretty impressive. Spire, of course, is not too well put together for a ship. It's pretty fragile. So they have to worry about bouncing even with that long spire there's on the bottom. Thunder Horse moving in on the Darwin's Eulogy, pressing it backwards. The Lumberjack, though, doing a good job on the Thunder Horse when it does hit. Balloon going down there on the Junker.
Yeah, they're going to have to keep popping it if they want to try to keep this guy down. Ariel, though, might be an arc. Hades coming in. There's the Lumberjack. They're just going to keep the Thunder Horse dropping down, deeper down. Armor not looking great either. Burning away. They're focusing too much on the balloon. Now the armor is down.
Prevaricative
moving in. Tons of flamer, and that is going to just rip through the hull. Holy cow. Holy cow. Light dimmer coming in on the Ariel, going to get the ram and the stomp into the dunes.
That
One
was
for one.
sheer physics.
Yeah, physics sure sheared that ship in two.
Could you say that again faster?
The physics
I wanna see
sure
if-
sheared that ship in two.
Ah, you did it. Okay, fine. Fair enough. Darwin's Eulogy taking out the light dimmer here. This is going to be a bit of a problem for the red goldfish. But a cloud is moving in to give them some cover. Balloon comes back up. Drunken Holly loses the
Prevaricative.
balloon once again. Prevaricative has the advantage. They could take them out right now if they can get the shots landed.
Sniping coming out, though. Light dimmer doing a little bit of defense. Bumps, though. Drunken Holly not looking great. Flamer goes out. If that balloon goes down again, they might bounce too hard.
Light dimmer's going to go down. Combined firepower from the Ariel and the Darwin's Eulogy takes out the goldfish 2-1 in favor of the blue team. But Drunken Holly losing it. Absolutely losing it to some triple firepower going on from all three blue ships. I don't think Drunken Holly lives through this.
No, armor's about to go down, and they bounce. Kablam, blam, blah, 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 blah. The Thunder Horse coming around behind the Prevaricative.
Thunder Horse is jumping right into the middle of a meat grind here. He should not have gone in. I do believe they have since realized that shots going out from all three blue ships, Goldfish, Spire, and Junker, Prevaricative being the primary focus of the Thunder Horse. They are taking some serious firepower, though. Balloon goes down. Armor is taking some hits. Fires are starting to be landed on that ship. They don't even have a chance.
Nope. 4-1 in favor of the blue team, and now their hulls are looking pretty good. They're in a nice position to win this in the next engagement.
Absolutely. They have a great opportunity here to hold on to this one and get another win for the blue team for this Iron Fork of Friday. Light Dimmer is holding back, though, as is Drunken Holly. It looks like when they use this cloud bank to their advantage, Thunder Horse has just spawned back in. This specific game is really showing off the power of the Lumberjack. Now, when we say the power of the Lumberjack does a lot, but primarily it's used to pop balloons and pop balloons very quickly. 2 to 3 shots directly from a Lumberjack, especially with charged or explosive rounds, is going to decimate a balloon and drop a ship to the ground. Now, because of how low the ceiling is usually treated on a map like this, a balloon pop means something major. That means a ship is already going to be grinding on the ground. Suddenly, a Goomba Stomp can happen, or someone can use a physics kill and get a very quick kill where the ship is just completely disabled because that balloon's been popped.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams taking a minute, though. They're being a little bit more defensive. Ariel rising up high. Lumberjack goes into the balloon, hits it once, but it's going to be okay. Watch goes out. Armor down on the Light Dimmer. Darwin's Eulogy still throwing out that defensive Lumberjack. Light Dimmer going to be the target. Hades coming out. Prevaricative wants a kill. The Thunder Horse might be the better target.
Those Hades shots were very inaccurate. The flag shots landed, but they just didn't do much because armor was still up. Light Dimmer, though, is taking a lot of fire. That's pretty impressive.
I'm sorry, I'm still chuckling over that cake video.
Run away. Run away.
Gatling going down on the Ariel. This is not what you want as a Spire. Mortar gonna come out very soon after. There it is.
Shots. They miss.
Gonna go wide.
They go wide, right.
Brevericative coming in for defense, and I think that this is all, all she wrote for the
Wow.
Thunder Horse.
Great Hwacha shot. Those were explosive rounds, of burst rounds rather, loaded into that Hwacha on the Spire. Great kill. 5-1 in favor of the blue team, but the butt of the Spire is exposed. They need to flip around and take out Darwin's, the Drunken Holly rather, and Light Dimmer before anything bad can happen.
Darwin's Eulogy has that Lumberjack on the Drunken Holly. Gonna stop them from rising up. There goes the balloon. Light Dimmer throwing out Lumberjack on the Ariel, but the Ariel is plenty high. I think the blue team in a very, very good position right now. Prevaricative going to use these clouds to get a little bit closer.
Amazing job so far by the blue team. Looks like, yeah, Prevaricative is moving in with those flamethrowers to try and keep the Drunken Holly on the ground. Great bounce. Blue team has the Drunken Holly right where they want them. Prevaricative going in for a little bit of a bump, it looks like, but doesn't get the opportunity. Flamethrowers finish the Drunken Holly off before they can hit. Thunder Horse now engaging the Prevaricative fellow Junker with Gat mortar shots.
Prevaricative, I think, has the upper hand right now, though. It's getting fire out on the Thunder Horse before anything even comes in. Light Dimmer firing out Lumberjack, most of it going wide. They're going to be okay as the Darwin's Eulogy comes in and lands, I think, what are going to be more accurate shots. There's one. 2, 3 miss. Fourth one misses. Fifth one misses. They don't
Light
get it.
Dimmer-
Oh,
Light Dimmer
mine,
just
though.
hit it. What, were those its own mines?
Yeah, that was its own mine.
Oh my goodness, you cannot afford to make that kind of mistake. Light Dimmer hits its own mines, loses a couple of its engines of all things. That's major.
Yeah, Prevaricative moving on the Thunder Horse in the meantime. Darwin's Eulogy switching targets. They just want to pick up a quick kill and finish this
Thunder
game
Horse
out.
did not have a chem spray rotation on. They're losing components and armor fast. They're going to ground out here. This ground tap could finish them off, but oh, they get just past the dune. They're going to skip against the ground instead. No, they catch it. They catch it, and they are stuck. They lost all their momentum.
Yeah, Darwin's Eulogy coming in for the ram. Finishes it off.
7-1 in favor of the blue team. Another win for the Blues. Great victory there. Very decisive. Great use of disabling in that game. I really liked the use of disabling that was going on with the blue team and how they were using their Lumberjacks.
Yeah, like they were just more accurate. They were targeting the right targets every time. No Probaldo. That was good. Like that I like the Lumberjack fire. I think the Lumberjack, the more accurate Lumberjack was what won that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Loading up the next lobby here, we have an opportunity to do a water hazard. I'm going to vote for that one. Love me some water hazard. Going back to the Hephaestus challenge, though, real quick. What are your thoughts going into week 3 here? What are your thoughts on Hephaestus challenge, Oracle?
I think that this week is going to show where the teams really are at. The first 2 weeks have sort of been teams warming back up to competitive play, trying to shake off the rust, get used to each other again, get used to these players that they're going to be playing with for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6 weeks. And I think that this week is really going to be defining. Like, this is where the teams are. Like, we're going to see, we're going to see them play. And I think that the way we see them play this week is going to be similar to the way they're going to play in the weeks to follow. And this is when we're going to see, we've started to see a couple patterns emerge. Week 3 is usually when you see things really settling in and you start seeing which teams are coming out on top. But this is also going to serve double duty for everyone viewing by saying, okay, so these teams, this is how strong they are right now, and this is how confident they are right now. And I think that this is going to be a big predictor week for the rest of, I'd say the rest of the Hephaestus for the next
I agree 100%.
9 weeks.
I think this is the litmus test week for these teams, especially with teams that are
10
going up
weeks.
against very tough competition, like the Riders, like HRA, who are facing each other, like Cake, who has to take on the Sky Invading Rhinos, who BFS, who has had a pretty rocky start. They're 0-2 right now. Bully Boys have a chance to make it 1-2 against the Merrymen. That's going to be a tough one. Both teams are struggling a little bit, but if Bully Boys goes 0-3, I don't see them getting to the postseason with that.
So I'm gonna sneeze.
Oh no, I have to
All
cover
right,
for
muted.
him now.
Just in time. No, just in time. I'm good. But yeah, I agree. I kind of don't want to call anything too early.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I want to wait until after this week to really try to call anything.
Sure.
To say like who goes into the silver bracket.
As fun as the numbers were today and this past week to crunch, the numbers for next week are really going to be telling.
Yeah, I think this is going to be where we see, I think, where the real fight's going to be. Because I mean, I think that the top spots are pretty clear. I mean, we have Glowwater Thralls, we have the Riders. I'd say like Holy Roman Army. You were talking about how well they've been doing. Like those guys are going to probably take the top 3. Everything below that is going to be struggling and clawing to try and get those good seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is going to determine the seeding for the silver bracket.
Yes,
I believe.
Absolutely.
See why not?
Again, this is going to be a big week to see if
Seeded according to how they
teams-
did, yeah.
these teams can really make this happen for the next few weeks so they can then get into the postseason. Muse, I know they're here just for fun. They're probably not going to get into the postseason, in my opinion. DPA, they need to turn things around pretty big because looking at the schedule here, I believe they have a pretty tough schedule coming up.
They've got Overwatch. They've got Musosaurs. Musosaurs they might be able to pull out. That one's going to be close. They're going up against Glowwater Thralls. Probably going to lose that one. No offense, guys. And Mad Hatters, depending on how well the Mad Hatters do in the coming weeks. Like, we'll see. I think we'll see. I think Mad Hatters are going to kind of be the wild card because, I mean, we don't know how well they're going to do with their team
Sure.
now set in stone. And I think like week 7 is going to entirely be like how much can the Mad Hatters catch up? And let's see, then it's going to be the Clamor. Yeah, Deadpool's army not looking so great.
I don't think Merrymen are going to be able to. They might get into the postseason, but it's going to be close. They have to do Black Flight Squadron this week, which I think is going to be a good game between the two. They're pretty well matched. Then they have Cake. I don't think they're going to hold up against Cake. Then in week 6, they have Sacrilege. I don't think they're going to hold up against Sacrilege. And then week 7, they have the Art of Warfare. They'll win against Art of Warfare, possibly, probably. And then Sky Invading Rhinos week 8. That's going to be a close match as well. Tough schedule for the Merrymen. I'm not 100% sure if they're going to make it into the postseason. They might. Right now, they are 1-1, and they did take on who was it? Deadpool's army in week 2. They did lose to the Holy Roman Army 5-0 in week 1. So we'll see. I honestly, I'm not sure. I can't predict if they're going to get into the postseason or not.
Zills Merrymen is going to be they're going to be one of those guys right on the cusp. Because 4 teams are going to get eliminated. And I think like I think that's going to be right on the edge. Like that, the struggle to be out of that bottom 4 is going to be really tough, I think. I think the bigger struggle is going to be in the Anvil division for those guys. And I think that Hammer division, I think it's a lot clearer in some circumstances. Who's like in the upper half and who's in the lower half. No offense to these teams, but like that's just kind of
it's how the tournament functions.
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of how it goes. But I think like the Anvil division is a lot more open to upsets and like really. I think that's really going to be close.
All right, looking back over the lobby here, we have 2 or 3 open slots. If you folks want to get in on this again, the Iron Fork of Friday is an open event that Cake holds every single Friday. Jacob is the organizer of that. Happens for about 2 hours every Friday afternoon for us in the U.S. time zones. And you can get in on it. The password is Iridium, right?
Yep.
Password is Iridium. And you can simply join the lobby.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, surprisingly enough, I didn't think we'd get through all my notes, but that's pretty much all my notes I have for Hephaestus this week.
Yeah, save them for tomorrow so we can.
No, that's all of them. That's all the notes I have.
Yeah. So so we'll talk about them again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Definitely. But I'm. Yeah, I don't know. This is gonna be interesting. I'm gonna be interested to see how the Anvil division turns out. And then Ryder versus HRA is gonna be interesting.
I am really, because that's our last game tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Ryder versus HRA, 2-0 teams. And of course, neither team wants to get a loss on their record. You know, one of them may very well be lossless going into the postseason. Who knows? But neither team is going to want to get a loss. Both teams are immensely good. One's a dark horse. One's a well-seasoned veteran of the competitive scene. So
they warmed up pretty well.
Yeah, they're both doing immensely well. So I think that's going to be the game of the week tomorrow, for sure.
Probably. So yeah, stay tuned through the whole thing.
Yeah,
or come around to the end. Whatever.
Seriously, you're not going to want to miss the last game, especially tomorrow. That is going to be powerhouse.
The other thing is going to be a treat to see the Mad Hatters too, and how well they do.
Yeah, hopefully they have a pretty good showing tomorrow. Mad Hatters plays against Glowwater Thralls. That's going to be a tough fight for them. Who knows though? Maybe they pull it out.
I don't know. I'm not as hopeful as you.
I want to keep it open. I want to keep the idea open. I don't think they will, but I want to hope that they have the possibility and the opportunity too. You said now they've solidified their teams, right?
Yeah.
Now, what exactly are the teams for the Mad Hatters that you know of?
I think Maddie and Grinning Jinx are going to be the captains.
Okay,
and I'm just like off the top of my head.
I've never seen them pilot before.
I've flown on Maddie's ship. Maddie is one of the best darn pilots I've ever seen.
Okay.
I don't know Grinning Jinx. Like, I don't know her at all. I don't know I don't know her flying capability, is what I mean. And I don't know like what they practice together, what they've done together, what they want to do together. I do know that they have some really darn good engineers. Like they have Tora, they have Jilly, they have Genocide is of course gunning for them, and he's incredible. One of the best darn gunners I know.
Yep.
And a good he's a good buddy. He's a cool guy.
We are finally getting to this next game of the Iron Fork of Friday. Teams have begun to ready up. Water Hazard is going to be the map. This is one of our favorites. Oracle, go ahead and tell them about the map.
It's pretty big and wide open. But you do have some pretty tripping over my words. You have some pretty big mountains that can be used for cover. Oftentimes, these are more used to try and get close for an engagement in the Iron Fork, though. So expect some serious brawling on this high flight ceiling map.
I like to call it shenanigans at this point. Expect shenanigans.
Steamboat shenanigans.
Where did that even come from?
Have you ever heard of Steam-Powered Giraffe?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of their songs.
Right. Okay. Going over the loadouts here as combat is going to start here very shortly. The Agile Midget, the HMH Agile Midget, piloted by... What is that guy's name?
Let me see. Zubinel Ganubi.
Zubinel Ganubi piloting that squid. Carronade front, Flamer side, Hades back. We have the Prevaricative piloted by Jacob. On the left-hand side, double flamer. Front flamer side is a Hades flak. And we have the Lance of Longinus, piloted by Hazard Life.
Longinus, yes.
Longinus, Gat Mortar front with flamer and flare on the side.
And for the blue team, aboard the Drop the Lochna, being piloted by Fox, we have a flak forward. No wonder he called it that, with a Merc to complement, a couple mine launchers for safety. Aboard the Joltik, we have a Kumi piloting Merc Artemis forward for a classic long-range build, another Artemis on the port, and a mortar to complement, interestingly enough. And aboard the Ariel, double Spire coming out for blue team. Being piloted by Admiral Jake Sparrow, we have a Lumberjack on the front with a Mercury on the front to complement, Flare on the starboard, and Banshee on the port.
I want to point out on the Drop the Lock, both... Who is it? It's Fox and Darwin. Both have Loch Nagar ammo. That's going to be interesting. I'm surprised. Oh, their gunner. The gunner on that ship, who was that? Nishi's mustache had Loch Nagar ammo as well. That's why I didn't see it. He had Loch Nagar ammo as well, but he's actually disconnected.
What, bro?
It's not good. Red team is pushing on the blue team's lines here. Red team is using the mountains out of the water as cover. Prefective using the bridge as well. Agile Midget is swinging around the far east side of the map, but it has been spotted. It looks like it might turn around here.
Mm-hmm.
Might
right
turn
now, yeah,
around.
red team pretty split up right now. Prevaricative. This is pretty scary. It's pretty scary to approach two spires.
Yes, you have a lot of guns pointed directly at you whenever you do that.
I think like the Mercury flak is a generally scary combination. Then you have the Lumberjack, which is going to make it even worse.
Yes, absolutely. Shots are going out. Prevaricative appears to be the target for the blue team. Red team's target is the Ariel. Hull is starting to take some pretty serious damage. Armor is nearly down on that spire. Armor is going to go down. Is it? Yes, it does burn down.
Lumberjack not going to land the way it needs to. Ooh, actually it does. Hits the Agile Midget. Does a little bit of hull damage. Doesn't hit the balloon though, oddly enough. Just far enough away. Look at that.
Prevaricative has gunned it. Prevaricative is moving in along with the Agile Midget. Lance of Longinus is moving in additionally. Oh my goodness. Joltik laying down the Gat mortar fire, or at least the mortar fire as best it can. No real Gat to be seen. No, unfortunately there's not.
No, I mean the Joltik has Mercury Artemis.
Yeah.
Lance of
the
Longinus
side
going
Gat,
mortar.
okay. Side mortar, rather. I see it. Lance of Longinus is pushing it backwards, though. Those long-range weapons on the Joltik not doing it a lot of favors right now.
He's used that Artemis. Where's the Artemis disabled?
Artemis.
Like they can totally disable the front guns. They just need to use it. Ariel getting bumped by the Prevaricative though. Armor is down. Flamethrower doing a lot of hull damage. That's
a lot of flamethrowers happening all at once.
Oh yeah, I mean when you pile that many flamers up at the same time, then that is just a ton of hull
Joltik
damage.
ends up going down. We're 2-0 in favor of the red team.
Yep. Agile Midget popping around, doing okay for itself. Only taking a little bit of hull damage. Managed to sort of keep the spires locked down a little bit. See, it's scary to approach these spires, but once you do close distance, you're not too worried.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Nishi's mustache was never able to log back in. Still disconnected. That's no good.
Yeah.
That's an important part of that spire.
Mm-hmm.
Without Nishi to do the gunning, it's missing a vital piece of the puzzle.
Don't worry though, the Drop the Lochna got a pilot. Oh baby.
Oh my god, they did.
And he
left.
disconnected.
No, he left. Yeah.
Yep, doesn't want to put up with that. In the meantime, Prevaricative trying to move in, getting popped by some of that Lumberjack. Armor not looking great. That's actually Merc. Merc coming down.
Good Merc shots. Very good
Yeah.
merc shots.
Small hull, but still managing to land some of those. Ooh, goes between the balloon and the hull. Whoa, what the? Do you see that?
See what?
Holy crap, that was terrifying.
What? What? What
I'm
happened?
gonna watch that again. That was horrifying. Watch. Yeah. Fuck your physics.
That doesn't look like it was possible.
That was terrifying.
Agile Midget is moving in from the far south side. All blue ships have grouped up together in a very tight formation, which will be able to easily dispatch anything that approaches it directly. Agile Midget coming in now has broken cloud cover, has been spotted. We'll see if the Spires turn to engage it. I do believe they are. They are turning to engage. Shots going out. Agile Midget is already in brawl range, though. Flamethrowers going out, but not hitting well enough.
Shoot vent being popped to drop down and out of arc. Drop the Lochna, keeping arc on him. Flak on land doesn't really do too much. Lights a couple of fires.
Preparative, though, with the cover of that very speedy, agile squid moving in, was able to close the range on the aerial and is using his flamethrowers to quickly grind it down.
Yep, not doing too bad of a job either. Ariel's armor getting slowly ground down. There it goes.
Lance of Longinus actually got the kill. Looks like it used its Artemis there to finish it off. I'm
Not
sorry,
too
not
big of a deal.
Artemis. Gat Mortar.
Yep. I mean, this is the weakness of the Spire. Like, you close distance on it, it can't really do much.
You know, there is a certain Scrimscraw who would disagree with you vehemently. Lance of Longinus takes a mine, but does not deter it from attacking the drop the Lochna. Great kill, 4-0 in favor of the red team, making that Spire disintegrate.
Joltik, in the meantime, getting engaged on by the Prevaricative. I think the Joltik, if it can just rise up, will be okay. It can, get those Artemis going down. But doesn't look like it's really happening. Where is Bombardier Marum? He is on the Merc. I disagree. I think he should definitely be on the Artemis. The Artemis benefits from having multiple kinds of ammo, even though it's not necessary, really.
No, neither is really necessary. Although I do like to have multiple ammo types for a Merc just because you can then take charged and heatsink at the same time, which
That's
do
nice.
wildly different things for the Merc.
Yeah. Ooh, Joltik getting loaded up. Ooh, Extinguisher goes out on the balloon just in time. Fire getting loaded up again. Still
Jodic is
burning
having
through
a
it.
hard time dealing with the Prevaricative. The Flamer pressure. Oh, Lance of Longinus is coming in for a great, amazing flank. Jodic losing armor. Hull is getting hit pretty badly, but Lance of Longinus knocks the Prevaricative out of arc there temporarily.
Yep, gonna give the Joltik a little bit of a chance to back away. The Joltik. No. Heavy Clip, though, doing a really great job. There it goes. Lance of Longinus able to get the Gap Mortar going down. In the
Agile
meantime,
Midget moving in. Drop the Lochna getting flamed up just a little bit. A couple fires on that Spire. Ariel is the next target for the Agile Midget, doing a great job of distracting the blue team's long-range Spires. Agile Midget takes a couple very nasty shots there, though. Armor is down. Hull is exposed.
there it goes.
Does not
It's
get
okay.
taken advantage of.
Nope, it's gonna be okay. 6-0 right now for the red team. Gonna just take one more kill. Excuse me. They get the kill on the drop of Lochna. Now the Joltik gonna be the target once more. Gap Mortar going down. Don't think this is gonna be too big of a deal.
Nope, that Gat Mortar is going to finish the Jodic off pretty quickly. The front of a Pyramidion, it may be difficult to hit at times, but good lord, if it doesn't have a lot of components just sitting there. Armor is down on the Jodic. Hull is starting to take damage. Lance of Longinus.
Wow, that mortar was late.
Yeah, incredibly late. I would have just held it till the armor went down again, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. And there, yeah, because look, the armor's back down and they can't really do anything with it.
Nothing.
Jodic
Jodic is going to
manages
hide
to-
behind these rocks here, getting flung backwards by the trade winds.
Yep.
Lance of Longinus completely lost arc. Is going to try to flip around the rocks here. Ariel getting pressured by both the Prevaricative, and the Agile Midget. Ariel is the last kill. Red team gets the win 7-0.
Solid. That was solid. Like, it's hard to get double Spire running. It's hard to get one Spire running. But when you have a Squid coming in on you, when you have, like, triple Flamer, Junker, like, when you have, like, just this build, like, the red team's build counters Spires pretty well, I'd say.
Absolutely. And Scrim in the chat was asking, hello? I was mentioning you do enjoy your Spires. Scrim Square, you do enjoy your Spires. Just mentioning it to Oracle, who apparently thinks the Spires can't brawl.
Glow Thralls can pull it off because they can twist the situation to their advantage. And if you can do that, you can make anything work, really. But besides that... Anyway, okay, so I hate to do this to you, but would you mind if I stepped out so I could get ready for the Meta
We'll see if we have another game in this even in the first place.
Looks like we'll have another. It's Northern Fjords.
We'll have one more in here. You need to step up though to prepare for Metamidian. What time will that start up?
That's going to be starting in a little under an hour.
So at what would that be? 7:30 Eastern.
Yes, indeed.
7:30 Eastern over at twitch.tv/Fourth Oracle. Metamidian starts up. Who'd you say you're going to be talking to this week?
Tanya Fenol.
Tanya Fenol, currently of the Ducks, I believe.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
That happens. Go do your thing. Oracle, we will talk to you later.
All right. Thank you very much. Iron Fork, fun, as usual.
We will see you for the Hephaestus Challenge tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern.
Yep, of course. See you then. Thanks, everyone. See you guys in a little under an hour over on my stream. If not, that's cool. If you can't make it, of course, it's going to be logged in my Twitch, and I'll have the recording. I'm going to get it set up so I can put it up on YouTube pretty soon. So I'll have all the Metamidians up on YouTube.
Do you have them all saved?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. All right, we'll see ya.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Alrighty, we are getting set up here for the last game of the Iron Fork of Friday here in twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show. It is going to be our Northern Fjords long-range map. Long-range map, and responding to chat there very shortly. There we go. We have full ships. For those that were trying to get in, I do apologize if you cannot get in. Of course, there's not much we can do about that. We actually did just have a spot open up. Never mind. They're moving fast. This will be the last game of the day of the Iron Fork of Friday. Northern Fjords is the map. It is going to be another death match. We'll see exactly how things finish up. Again, the Iron Fork is a public event that Cake holds every single Friday, running for about 2 hours. They invite the entire community to be a part of it, to get to know each other a little bit, to play with people that they normally don't get a chance to play Guns of Icarus with, and to get to know the wider community a bit better. And it's been going actually since October, I believe, of last year. This is number 29. Just past the 6-month anniversary of the Iron Fork a month or so ago. It was about a month ago. We should be getting started here in just a few minutes, folks. Once the team's ready up, we will be good to go. We'll get loadouts underway, map description underway for you, and get moving. I was on the fireside chat earlier talking about Hephaestus Challenge as well as answering questions for the esports community of Guns of Icarus. If you guys want to go back and watch that, we get a lot of really good information out there, including a really interesting concept for gunner upgrades and a possible way to make gunners on the same level that engineers are viable. Again, that is over on the official Guns of Icarus Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Guns of Icarus. And that recording will be up there for at least a week or two, and then I believe they load them over to the YouTube page as well. Of course, if you haven't seen the Hephaestus Challenge or any of the competitive scenes, go over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Rob and Dan Show, same username as our Twitch channel here, and you can find all of the previous matches we've done for the Hephaestus Challenge, as well as many other competitive matches we've done, along with tons, 550 plus videos that we have posted up over the last, I'd say, 6 or 7 years. It's been a while. Including, if you want something absolutely hilarious, you go check out our Portal 2 playthrough that Rob and I did of the co-op side of things. That was just absolutely ridiculous. I always like to refer to that when talking about great YouTube playthroughs. That
Ludicrous speed! Go!
Oh! That was ridiculous.
It's awesome.
Absolutely ridiculous. All right, teams have begun to ready up here, and we will be good to go in just a moment. Again, this is going to be on Northern Fjords. It's going to be a bit of a long-range game, more than likely, depending upon what people take. There is one slot available still on the Heartbreaker, Admiral Jake Sparrow's ship, at the very bottom of the screen. We should be getting into things uno momento. Northern Fjords is a very open map. It does have a lot of different formations, ice, mountains, and whatnot, but it has a lot of very open space and a little cloud cover under the right circumstances. Sometimes clouds move in, sometimes they don't, but when they don't, you can see clear across the map quite easily. Getting into it here, we will do red team and then blue team for loadouts, and then finish things up for the day as soon as we get done here. I would implore you all to go over to Fourth Oracle's Twitch channel as soon as we're done for the Metamidian. But that being said, we have one last game here. The Light Dimmer. It's a goldfish, a blender fish, in fact, piloted by Abby the Rat. Carronade, heavy carronade on the front with flamer and carronade on the sides. We have the Prevaricative, piloted by Jacob. On the right-hand side, Flak Hades. On the front, a flamer, and left-hand side, double flamer as well for the triple flamer arcs that we have seen be so effective so far. We also have the Lance of Longinus, piloted by Hazard Life. Hades Flak on the front with flamer and mine launcher on the side. On the blue side of things, we have the Agile Midget, piloted by Zubin. I don't know how to pronounce your name, sorry. Carronade on the front, flamer on the side, Hades on the back. We also have, on the blue side of things, Janet's Moon, piloted by Akumi. Heavy flak on that spire with double Artemis and Merc support. That's a lot of long-range firepower there. We also have the Heartbreaker, a Pyramidian piloted by Jake Sparrow. Double Hades front with flamers on the sides. Those are your loadouts here. Red and blue teams are both heading towards the center of the map where they can engage each other. No spots going out just yet. Oh, I stand corrected. Prevaricative has been spotted, I do believe, by the Agile Midget. Shots are already going out from Janet's Moon. Those heavy flak shots miss pretty wildly. Lance of Longinus also starting to take some fire. The red team... Yeah, Zub, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to pronounce your name. I'm not that good.
Zubinel Ganubi.
Zubinel Ganubi?
Think of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Zubinel Ganubi. Or maybe I'm that good. Hopefully I pronounced it right. I don't know if I'm ever...
You can always call him Old Zub.
Old Zub. Okay, that's funny. Apparently we got it right. It's a miracle. Lance of Longinus moving in against Janet's Moon, taking some pretty accurate fire, pretty accurate shots rather on it with those Hades. pretty much all of them landing there except for one or two. Pretty good. Light Dimmer loses its balloon. It's going to go down against the Agile Midget, but there's plenty of room to dip down into the skies here before they start to hit ground. And unless Agile Midget can continue to pop that balloon, it may not do too terribly much. Still no kills just yet. Zubin El Ganubi takes out the balloon again on the Light Dimmer. Light Dimmer under a lot of pressure, but Prevaricative coming in on the Agile Midget, setting the entire ship ablaze. That squid, rather, I'm sorry, is in a lot of trouble. Soon enough, it's going to be turned into fried calamari. At a moment's notice, bump coming in from the Prevaricative. Light Dimmer getting its flamethrowers going as well. Agile Midget going down. Engines are starting to come back up, but flamethrowers coming to arc from the Prevaricative. Prevaricative continue to Goomba stomp the Agile Midget down into the ground. Oh, they're going for the Goomba kill. Prevaricative swinging the side of its ship. They're on the long range side there, not on the brawling side, but Light Dimmer doing a lot to keep that ship damaged. Agile Midget gets bumped back in towards the ground. Prevaricative moving in to try and finish them off. Agile Midget is going to bounce once, dies because of it. Prevaricative first kill for the red team, and they take the board first. Lance of Longinus continuing to duel with Janet's Moon and the Heartbreaker, mostly in Lance of Longinus' favor, oddly enough. 2v1 really doesn't work that way. But we'll see. We'll see exactly how that goes. Light Dimmer and Prevaricative both moving back in. Agile Midget spawned back in. We definitely need to see a little bit more brawling here to get a win within the 2-hour time frame we normally have the Iron Fork for. HMS Agile Midget is more than likely going to be the next target. Light Dimmer and Prevaricative are both split up. Prevaricative heading straight towards the Lance of Longinus to try and support it. Agile Midget moving on Lance as well. Janet's Moon has taken some pretty serious damage from... Oh my good, Lance of Longinus getting some great shots in from the Flak and the Hades. Agile Midget is going to try to body block there for its ally. Does a pretty good job of it too. Light Dimmer moving in on, as well as the Prevaricative on the Agile Midget. Lance of Longinus has taken some serious damage though, and they're going to need a moment to compose themselves and get back in position. Long range shot still coming in from Janet's Moon and the Heartbreaker. Just not doing too terribly much though. Not doing much at all. Agile Midget is running around and away, using Candy Mountain to its distinct advantage. Lance of Longinus and the... Oh, which one is that? That is the Light Dimmer moving in on the Spire and the Heartbreaker. Shots going down on both sides of things. The Spire dies first, 2-0 in favor of the red team, but Light Dimmer is looking very poor right now. Lance of Longinus is going to have to do something major to save its ally. Light Dimmer has lost no actual components just yet, not 2 of its engines. Its armor goes down though. Heartbreaker finishes it off for the first blue point of this game. Janet's Moon spawns back in. Lance of Longinus is getting flamethrowered, but Chem Spray rotation keeps it from taking much damage at all. Great shots coming out from Lance of Longinus, putting major pressure on the Heartbreaker. Armor goes down. Hull is at about 1/2 of what it should be at. Great damage from Lance of Longinus. Great fire. They're trying to keep the Heartbreaker in arc. Heartbreaker is moving in on them, trying to get inside the arming time of that Hades and Flak. And it looks like it has been effective at doing so far. Prevaricative and Light Dimmer in chase of the Agile Midget still. Lance of Longinus is taking some damage now to its hull. Very little, but it is there. Lance of Longinus still reversing pretty quickly. They could bounce here. Bounce, but doesn't lose any momentum. They could lose momentum, though, when they hit this rock spire. They lose it all. That is absolutely major. Agile Midget moving in on them very quickly. Flames going down. Agile Midget, though, takes itself too far and out of arc. Lance of Longinus has an opportunity to get out of here with its hull intact. Light Dimmer avoiding the Heartbreaker, which is going for the Lance of Longinus, it looks like, and instead goes straight on Janet's Moon, while the Heartbreaker is getting hit by Lance of Longinus pretty heavily. Great. Both long-range Pyramidians are attempting to brawl with their long-range weapons. And I'm going to be honest, I don't get it. Just back up and use the long-range weapons properly. Janet's Moon is able to take out the Light Dimmer there pretty effectively. Rob, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm here.
You had a lot of noise coming through your mic.
That's weird.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. I was just really confused there for a second. Heartbreaker getting flamed by the Prevaricative pretty badly. Lance of Longinus should back up here and swing its guns. There's the flak, but they miss. They miss their shots. They swing wide to the left. BSS Prevaricative moving in on the Heartbreaker with its flamethrowers trying to get the kill, but it's just not happening yet. It's not quite enough damage to finish off that Pyramidian. Janet's Moon dropping some hits on the Prevaricative, not doing a ton. Lance of Longinus in a lot of trouble too. We have a couple armor breaks going on, specifically on the Lance of Longinus. Janet's Moon hitting relatively effectively. Lance of Longinus going to bounce once. Looks like they recovered. Agile Midget, though, moving in. They're going to hit him. Doesn't really do much, but it is going to pressure the Agile Midget to get something done as the Prevaricative moves in. Lance of Longinus, great tanking there. 3-2 in favor of the red team. 4-2 now. Janet's Moon could make it 5-2 here shortly if it goes down. All three red ships are lining up. Looks like Light Dimmer is the first to charge in. Lance of Longinus is going to get hit from behind as the Heartbreaker spawns back in. Hades shots are going to rain down on the Lance of Longinus's engine column. Prevaricative moving in along with the Light Dimmer. Light Dimmer turns to the side for some reason and starts moving away from the Janet's Moon. Not exactly sure why, to be completely honest. This gives Janet's Moon an opportunity to do some damage to the Light Dimmer, to get some better hits on it. Light Dimmer, though, turning. Prevaricative moving in. Janet's Moon in a lot of trouble. Flamethrowers going down. Lance of Longinus moving in as well. Janet's Moon, the Spire, just does not have the survivability to hold up to that kind of firepower. Agile Midget moving in as well. Flamethrowers going down on the Lance of Longinus. But Chemspray rotation is solid on that Pyramidian and it does not do much. Agile Midget is going to be a little bit of trouble here if they are spotted. That's a big if. Oh no, they are diving down. They actually could hit the ground here. Agile Midget could tap ground. They lose some of their momentum, not all of it. Agile Midget still trying to get out of here as best they can. Going back to the other blue ships. Heartbreaker gets in real close with the Prevaricative. Janet's Moon sitting back just at perfect range. doing some pretty serious damage to the Light Dimmer, the Lance of Longinus. Heartbreaker, though, is going to go down here. Too much pressure from those red ships grouped up tightly together. 6-2 in favor of the red team. And we are at match point rather, for the red team. Light Dimmer and Prevaricative all moving in right at the Agile Midget. Lance of Longinus moving in as well. No one can really hit the Agile Midget, though, from the looks of things. Not a lot of good hits at all on that squid. Heartbreaker spawns back in behind the Lance of Longinus. Red team appears to be focused mostly on the Agile Midget. Balloon is down on the Light Dimmer, though. Janet's Moon taking some fire from the Lance of Longinus, though. Oh my goodness, great kill by the Pyramidion to finish that game off. Lance of Longinus doing a great job of grinding down that Spire on its own very quickly. Great job. Fantastic job. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us here on twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show, not just for the Iron Forker Friday today, but for when Rob was streaming quite a bit of Don't Starve throughout the afternoon. Rob, did you want to do any more of that at all?
I'm probably actually going to hold off today because I'm going to start playing around with Blender 3D.
What's Blender 3D?
It's a 3D modeling program.
Aha!
Free program, and it's got some interesting cloth dynamic.
Intriguing!
Wink.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, folks. We're going to go ahead and go off air. Please make sure you check out not just the Cake Clan, who host this event every single week. Thank you to them for putting on a fantastic event. But make sure you check out Fourth Oracle's channel here at twitch.tv/Fourth Oracle. He's going to be doing the Metamidian in just about a half hour from now. So do not miss that. Do not miss that. Thank you so much. For Rob and Oracle, I have been Dan. This has been twitch.tv/The Rob and Dan Show and the Iron Forker Friday. Don't miss the Hephaestus Challenge tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. We have a full retinue of the Hammer Divisions matches, starting up with Glowwater Thralls versus Mad Hatters right at 4 p.m. EDT. Again, for Rob and Oracle, I have been Dan. That has been the Iron Forker Friday for this Friday, June 13, 2014. That's the show. Good night now.